Hi, I'm William Mears, and congratulations for making a good decision, a sound decision. This is part one of our training that we're going to be giving away prior to our webinar, and we look forward to seeing you there. Obviously, there's going to countdown at the bottom of this video as to when that webinar begins, and because you've registered, I'll also be sending you email reminders on when that's going to be taking place. So definitely look forward to that. We're going to be covering a lot of information there, uh, specifically 5 different lead generation tactics, how to explode your connections, which is going to be really awesome. You'll be surprised at how easy this is. But right now, what I want to do is actually show you uh, how to start with LinkedIn. So if you don't even have an account with LinkedIn, I want to kind of go over a couple things. That way, by the time webinar day comes around and we're all sitting there talking about lead generation, you're in the know. If you even if you didn't have an account before the webinar started, by the time you get done with this video and part two, you're going to know exactly what you need to do and be able to probably implement that. If you've got an hour or so out of your day, you'll be able to implement this stuff and be ready for the webinar, which is even better. So without any further ado, let me talk a little bit about LinkedIn. This is my home screen. Obviously, I've already created an account. Okay, now LinkedIn will actually guide you through the process when you create an account. I suggest using your main email, whatever it is that you want to receive notifications at, is the best way to go here. Okay, as you notice over here, there's a bar that says 100% profile completeness. Now I can improve my profile because I've been around for a little bit, but this right here is very important. It's a meter, so to speak, and your objective, your goal, is to get that to 100% as fast as possible. Now I'll tell you right now, LinkedIn has something they call recommendations, which is basically where people recommend you on your work, things like that, and those can be a challenge to get if you're brand new on LinkedIn and don't have very many connections or networking. I'm going to make that a lot easier on you come time for the webinar, show you how to get those. But for now, with 3 connections, they're each worth, or excuse me, 3 recommendations, they're each worth 5%. So if you filled out your profile completely and just were missing the recommendations on your profile, you would have an 85% complete profile. So again, you got to get to 100. It's absolutely vital because a lot of people look for complete profiles. I mean, they won't be able to see this, this meter over here, only you will. But I can look at a profile. I've been around long enough to know which ones are, have been worked over well and which ones aren't. So keep that in mind. Okay, that's the first thing you want to do is run through all the little wizard steps that they have, add a position. A lot of people, there's 2 ways you can do a LinkedIn profile. There's the way that it was originally intended, and then the way that I like. And if you notice, my profile is a little bit different in the sense, that my title is, you know, double your sales in 30 days, hire me as your joint venture broker, because that's my business. That's what I do. Now, the thing about this is most people treat this site as a resume site, which is one of the reasons why a lot of you out there don't actually use the site, because who needs a site where their resume is up all the time and they got to go and keep changing it, right? Well, I use it as a lead source, and a lot of people out there use this as a lead source and a way to network. So it's very important to, in my opinion, to not view this as a resume site, to view this as an introduction to who you are or to who your company is, or both. Site. That's what it is to me, and that's how I use it. So again, you can use this as a resume site and fill in your past positions and things. If you notice, down here under my experience, I've got several lead-ins, and then also, I have past things that I've done, and things that jobs that I've held. So there is a bit of a resume feel to it. But if you look at the profile initially all the way down through the summary, you can tell this is a sales page basically to contact me, and here's how you can contact me, right? Um, so yeah, keep that in mind. That's one thing you want to do when setting up your profile. Um, Now, as we go on in the training here, we're going to be covering again lots of lead generation techniques and things like that. So, one thing that you can do if you own a company, I would recommend going ahead and setting up a company page. Okay, so you just click on the company tab here and click over here on add a company. Okay, and when you add a company, you can actually it's pretty cool because you can host all kinds of product information. So if your company sells a product or a service, you can host information, what your pricing is, all kinds of good stuff, right? To where you're not just dependent on your website for that information. Now that people trust LinkedIn a lot, and you've got your company information on LinkedIn, including pricing, and who works there, and what their positions are, etc. That's a great way for you to utilize LinkedIn. And those are the two main things that I want you to set up, and that's what I'm covering in this video. In the next video, we're going to cover a little bit more about how to get involved and start networking with people, and that way you can kind of get a feel for what's to be expected, and how easy this actually is, and where most people get it wrong. Okay, so that's going to be part 2, and then in the third video, the automate to dominate, I'm going to show you guys a pretty neat little software that I use, that helps me bust out a lot of messaging, and networking with people. So and in multiple ways. So pretty neat stuff. I'm going to show you pretty much start to finish how to set up your account and get rolling with this thing, and even automate it to a certain degree. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited to have you on board. I can't wait to see you on the webinar, and we'll talk to you then.